Girl, you bad.
Yellow. This is Luann Jordan, and today we're chatting with the multi-talented Geffen who master 3000 Gerrald. So Geffen, it is good to have you here. It's good to be able to just talk with you face to face about your music, how you got started. And so to lead off the questions, I just wanted to ask, at what age did you begin singing?
Singing, well, I began singing in 2008. Me and my friend Darren started writing music and singing and DJing and stuff like that.
And what drew you to the music industry in the first place? Like, what was it for you?
Well, I've always been in music because my dad was a DJ. So coming up, it was whether he's out playing or he was at home transferring music from vinyl to cassette or cassette to vinyl or whatever, because he was the guy for that on the island. Right. So the living room was brimming with vinyl cassettes, the basement up to this day still brimming. Okay. So that's where, my first love really died.
But I found your name to be interesting. So Woo Master 3000. Can you give me the story behind that? Like, what inspired the name?
Okay, well, it all begins with the Woo. It was a name given to me by the ladies because they say I have a certain way with words, and then after that, it was Jeffrey Woo, then Jeff Master Woo, and then Woo Master 3000. I mean, meeting different people, they generally tend to give me a different spin on the Woo. So that's where I'm at now.
You've had some collaborations. So I was just wondering, like, what guides your decision as to who you want to collaborate with?
As with anything else, when it comes to my music, I vibe off energy. I think about what you could offer to the collaboration. We have to have chemistry, obviously. I think about, how can you make the collab better? What can you add to it that I can't add to it? Because I think those are the elements some people forget. Because I don't really it doesn't make sense collab if it's not going to be beneficial to you as an artist. Right. So your vibe has to be there. If I'm singing this way, I don't particularly want you to be singing the same way as me. So there has to be some kind of contrast, but blending well as well.
So what would you say is distinctive about your style as a soca artist?
I think the ability to transition between, I'm not going to limit it to just a soca artist, but artistry in general. Yeah. The ability to transition between the genres, I can do that pretty well. I could go from dancehall to rapping straight into soca, and you won't even realize that I've changed it up. So I think that's what sets me apart from everybody else.
Your versatility. Past or present, is there anyone you would like to work alongside, and why, if you had to choose someone?
Past. Okay, so in the past, I would love to have work with the Great Arrow.
Okay.
Alphonsus Castle of Montserrat. Being Montserratian, it's a no-brainer for me. One of the most famous Montserratians does the same thing I do, sing soca, so it's a no-brainer for me.
Okay.
Yeah. Present. That's I would love to work with Machel.
Machel Montano. Okay.
To be honest, because his ethic is just unreal, and his energy is just, I just find like he's like a Superman, I swear down. I actually had a song I wrote a couple of years ago, and it was like, big up Arrow the first son, then Machel the next son, and then I'm the one after that, I'm the third son, so that's it for me. Arrow and Machel.
What is one lesson you've learned during your career as a performer, and who would have taught that to you? A lesson that you've held on to over time.
Okay, well, that's actually one of my favorite stories. Well, the lesson is when you go on stage, just kill everything. Like, you're going up there, just make sure you give it your all. So 2014, I was going in for Soca Monarch, just penned my first soca track. So I'm hyped, but I'm still nervous because I've never competed. I've performed, but I've never competed. And contrary to popular belief, there's a difference between the two. So I'm there, and me and Tian had linked up the year before at a performance when he came to Montserrat. So we kept the connection. So I was like, boy, yo, T, boy, how you win Soca Monarch? Because the same year he won Soca Monarch. They said, how you win Soca Monarch? He said, boy, Jeff, I just tell myself, let me go up on the stage, I've done everything, right? So from that, I was like, that's it? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, okay, so when you go on the stage, you own that. That's what it really boils down to.
Where is one place in the region you would like to perform and why?
Well, to be honest, if you had asked me before last week, it would have been 2 places, but now it's 3. Okay. So one is Jamaica, because I'm a big fan of dancehall, and that's the mecca of dancehall.
Right.
Second one is Trinidad, because obviously soca, mecca of soca. The third one would be Montserrat in the 80s, because listening to you know, the bigger heads, you know, the hero, Justin Hero Castellan, those guys speak about 80s, right? It's like, yo, that's crazy. I know obviously I can't go back in time, but I would love to experience jamming in Montserrat the way they were jamming in the 80s or the early 90s. So that's the third, you know. And I would actually put those above the other 2, to be honest. The first thing I want to do is go back into the past and jam with Arrow.
And then take a stop in Trinidad and then head over to Jamaica. Nice. What major goal would you like to accomplish as a performer?
So my goal is to be heard by everyone around the world, to be seen, to be felt. That's my goal, you know. I mean, I could attach it to something, you know, physical, like a Grammy Award, like, you know, but for me, that's cool, you know, but there are many great artists that have not won a Grammy, you know, and I wouldn't think less of them because they had that piece of hardware or not, you know. So I just want to be heard and felt all over the world. That's my dream.
What is something about your personality that people may be surprised to know about you?
Oh, I'm shy. I'm shy. I'm shy, you know. I come across as the opposite, but I am really shy, you know.
Yeah, I couldn't tell.
No, but you asked something they didn't know, and that's what you're not going to know. You know? So that's what's up.
Okay. What song do you currently have on replay?
Right now, okay. So, Vibes Cartel and Itana, Baby Yo, and Dexter Daps, Call Me If.
Okay.
Yeah, those 2.
Anything in particular about those 2 songs that's holding your interest?
Okay, well, for me, the collaboration between Itana and Cartel, you know, I never saw that coming, and it just hit me like boom. It's perfect, you know what I mean? And then the Dexter Daps now is like, man, what else are you gonna tell women? You know what I mean? Like, what else are you gonna? I'm just amazed by how he can say the same thing over and over, but make it sound absolutely new and fresh, you know?
Okay. What projects are you currently engaged in?
Okay, well, I just released a music video for a track called Bad. Should be on my YouTube page, and other streaming platforms. And also just worked on a music video with the OECS and some other artists from the region. That video should be out. It's called More Than Just Islands. It's an attempt to, you know, quell the marine pollution around the region. So it's really, you know, geared towards that, you know, public awareness of the situation and all of that. So that's my last. I've got another music video about to drop. It's called Come On Me Yard. I think it's self-explanatory, so I don't really need to get into that. You know, so look out for that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
She come out in a jacket, but no, hand in her she pocket. Look pan face, say she ready for them.